has been ordered by a U.S. judge to unlock a telephone belonging to one of the San Bernardino shooters. The FBI is investigating any possible links between Saeed Rizwan Farouk and ISIL. It's been trying to gain access to encrypted data from Farouk's iPhone since December. Farouk, along with his wife, Tashfeen, shot and killed 14 people in San Bernardino in California on December the 2nd. The order heightens a long-running dispute between tech companies and law enforcement agencies over the limits of encryption and access to the information contained on somebody's smart device. Larry Magid is a tech journalist and co-director of connectsafety.org. Larry Magid, why can the FBI simply not crack the phone on their own?
The problem is that the iPhone has built into it a system where if you have 10 incorrect attempts to type in the password or passcode, it will erase the data. And so the FBI has no idea what the passcode is, and what they want to do is what's called a brute force attack. They want to keep entering passwords over and over and over again until they get it right. Well, obviously it's extremely unlikely that they'd get it right within the first 10, and if the phone then erased, then they'd be out of luck. So what they're asking Apple to do is to provide them with software. We don't know if the software even exists, but maybe have to create software that would enable them to keep attempting as many times as they needed to until they cracked it. And by the way, even if such software did exist and did work, it's no guarantee that they'd be able to crack that code in a timely manner. There are tens of millions of possibilities, and unless they used a supercomputer, I'm not even exactly sure how they would do it. So I think this is all a long shot, but it sort of circumvents the issue of encryption, because the fact is that the phones are encrypted, and even Apple can't break the encryption. All you can do is try to hack into the phone.
How can Apple not have the right software, given that Apple, slightly secretive organization granted, but given that Apple designs so many pieces of smart technology, how can they not have the recipe available to make this information available to the FBI?
Well, it's a very good question, and the answer lies in wanting to create an encryption system that is so good that even Apple itself can't break into it. And here's the reason why companies do that. So let's say Apple got an order to provide data, because it had the ability to break through the encryption. If Apple could provide the data, then it would be lawfully obligated to comply. And that could be an order from the U.S., it could be an order from any country in which Apple does business, including countries that might not be favorable to the U.S. So if Apple can say with a straight face, look, we'd love to help you, but we simply can't, then they're not even able to comply with the order. It's like asking you to provide something off of a shelf when you don't have that in your house anywhere. So it's a protection mechanism for Apple, and it's a way for them to assure their customers that, don't worry, your phones are secure, no one can break in, not criminals, not competitors, not Apple, and of course not any government.
But isn't there a massive contradiction here, though? And it's this. I mean, at a time when we're told, say, Google, not involved in this story, granted, just in case anyone from Google is watching, but at a time when we're told search engines like Google record everything that one puts into the dialog box. We live in a time of findmyfriends.com. You can track your friends around the globe. Surely there's an algorithm out there that can hit the right combination before you get to that 10th stage and all the information is deleted.
Well, if Apple had wanted to build that into their phone, absolutely they could have done that. But the fact is that they haven't built that into their phone. So the question is simply, can Apple, look, Apple controls the operating system. Maybe they could provide, for example, the FBI with a special version of OS 10, of their OS operating system, not OS 10, but of their iOS operating system, that would disable this 10 times in your out routine. I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm saying we have to hear from Apple as to whether they say it's possible. And even if they did that, whether the government would still be able to break in by brute force. But theoretically, sure, they could come out with a new version of iOS that didn't have that and put that on the phone and hope that the data would be there. And I think most people in the world do want to get more information about these terrorists. It's not that Apple is sympathetic to the criminals, the terrorists, but they want to protect their phones against, in favor of their customers, against illegitimate spying, whomever it might be from.
Very briefly, Larry, we're almost out of time. In your heart of hearts, following Apple as you do you believe this, that they can't do this, that they're maybe even having to write the software as we speak to do it?
I do believe that the encryption in the phone is so strong that even Apple can't break it in a reasonable time. I have no idea whether Apple's engineers are capable of writing software that would somehow get around it, and give the FBI what they want. That's a technical question that only Apple could answer.
Larry Magid, thank you. Still to come.